and it shows this kind of lack of coordination in the Trump administration. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to bag on the Trump administration. I try to train unless people would be dying. We just had an American citizen that died in a drone strike against an apartment building in Kiev.
Bro just said the same thing. As you said, order was closed.
Yeah, orders was closed. I found a gap back at 59. It was some super early. Between the 6:45 and the 7:15. That's in the morning. 6:45 this morning.
Still my credentials, bro.
7:15.
Everything cool, guy. Look at that. Right to that 82. Yep, did what we didn't want it to do, man. The ball is stopping. The ball is stopping. YM is looking very bullish. YM is looking very bullish. We are too, though, I guess. Retested it, broke back over. It's probably gonna be the candle that's gonna take it over 83. Keep joking. Keep joking. Give me a thumbnail on that part one. Sorry about that, guys. Had the internet to fucking make sure I don't kick the fucking internet. A lot of people working on the Wi-Fi right now. Kick the internet, ain't no web. Alright, man. About to turn on this news. Last 45 minutes of the session. We're here, guys.
Stephen Miller last month said the administration wants ICE to make a minimum of 3,000 arrests per day. They got to fill their frickin' quotas. This is crazy. Trump had been pulled into two directions on the issue, recently coming under pressure from executives in the agriculture and hospitality industry to loosen up on the sweeping deportation problems that was causing them migrant workers. And remind you, these are very different jobs from the jobs that, typically you see legal immigrants want. Or legal Americans, for that sake. Americans or legal immigrants who are typically more part of our service industry, such as customer service, being, wait staff, being a real estate agent, being a lender, working in software or whatever. This is a very different industry, or even working in the government for that sense. Very different industry from working, on the farms, in 90-degree weather, collecting strawberries or whatever the weather might be. The president on Thursday wrote on social media that changes are coming to help protect farmers from losing workers. Well, apparently that's U-turning. Though a White House official told the Post at the time that no actual policy changes were being proposed by the White House. And then, of course, we get this pivot. Some immigration experts say ICE would need to ramp up worksite enforcement to basically meet their quotas. And it seems like that's what this is about. Now, continuing raids, though, are going to be focused on the Democratic cities, outside and inside Democratic city. We will continue to expand efforts in sanctuary cities, which is, a little bit targeted. But then again, cities are also your melting pot. That's where you're going to have the most amount of immigrants. So whether this is targeted at Democrats or that's just a happy coincidence for, Trump and Republicans is unclear. But flipping again on this, a little bit of a bummer to see, because once again, it's just a lack of coordination amongst the White House and United States agencies. Sad.
Israeli fighter jets have been busy in western Iran. The IDF says they took out dozens of surface-to-surface missiles, the kind of thing that Iran has been firing at Israel. They also attacked surface-to-air missiles, air defenses, along with radar installations. Israel says their fighter jets now enjoy air superiority over Iran, meaning their air defenses have been degraded to such an extent that the fighter jets can pretty much do whatever they want in Iranian airspace without much risk of being shot down. Harris?
Mike Tobin, thank you very much. Amos Yadlin is former Israeli Air Force general and former head of Israeli military intelligence. Sir, it's great to have you here. My first question has to do with what Iran had first hit you with, a barrage of missiles. Reports are that that has greatly slowed down. Tell us exactly what you're facing from Iran.
We're facing a group of missiles coming every couple of hours. It started with 100 in April 2024, went up to 200 in October 1st, 24. And again, on this war, it started from 100, but now it's went down to 50, to 40. And since last night, it's only a couple of them. So the question is whether Iran capabilities were degraded because the Israeli Air Force achieved air superiority and they are hunting the launchers all the time, or Iran is trying to adapt another strategy of attrition and making life in Israel more problematic when people have to go to the shelter every couple of hours.
Look, General, I want to hit more military logistics with you, and we'll move forward. Fordo, what can you tell me about what's there? And do you, with your military now in Israel, the IDF, have the capability to take that out?
Fordo is the policy insurance of the of Iran nuclear program. They used to have a huge enrichment site called Nataz with 15,000 centrifuges. Many of them are advanced, but Nataz, the Israeli Air Force can destroy. Fordo is in the middle of a mountain, in a place that is very difficult to destroy, and they move there a couple of centrifuges, not more than hundreds, that in case that Nataz will be attacked, they will have this place as a safe place. Can Israel attack it from the air? The bunker busters of Israel, which is 2,000 pounds, is not enough for this well-protected under mountain site. However, never underestimate the Israeli innovation. There are other capabilities that Israel used in the past, and maybe we'll find a new way, as we did with the pagers or as we did with other surprising techniques.
Can the United States help you with a more powerful bunker-busting bomb? And is that in the works that you know of?
No doubt, the United States has 30,000 pounds. It's a huge bomb that is carried only on big bombers from B-52 to B-2. And the Israel does not possess such a bomber. So I think if we want to continue the elimination of the Iranian
bunker busters
nuclear program, the U.S. should consider to make the final step.
General, it is great to get this information from you. I'll do one more question with you. And
Tesla's plummeting right now. I don't know why.
Talk around that, what it could look like in terms of negotiating with Iran, so on and so forth. If that were even possible at this point, it could be. But the question is, Netanyahu, Prime Minister, has said no to peace right now. When do you think that could change?
I think you mean a ceasefire.
A
Peace
ceasefire.
Is much more.
Yes. You're right. That's not necessarily peace.
That's an interesting distinction, peace versus ceasefire. That's actually something to think about. I haven't thought about that before.
3 conditions. We can cease the fire. First, that Iran will go back to the negotiation, saying that the base of the negotiation is the golden standard of nuclear energy, because the Iranian alleged program goal is to enrich uranium for civilian use. Civilian use, according to the U.S. Atomic Agency, Section 123, you are not allowed to enrich on your own soil. You get the uranium from the outside. This is exactly what is done on the other side of the Gulf in the UAE. So should be the base for a future negotiation. And then understanding between the US and Israel that if Iran cheats, if Iran is not going to the golden standard, then Israel and the US will resume the attack to make sure that Iran is not breaking to the bomb with maybe what left somewhere in Iran as a high enriched uranium and a weapon group.
And number 3, just real quickly.
Number 3 is to take this advantage and to end all the wars in the Middle East.
Okay.
We need to end the Gaza war as well, to bring back all the hostages.
Yes.
Selling
They are
spree.
in my heart. We need to bring back all the hostages and have the same principles there. Hamas will not rule Gaza. Hamas will dismantle. And if not, we use the same model that Israel and America decided about northern border, about Hezbollah, that if Hamas is not putting down their weapon, Israel will go back to the war and the US will support it.
General Yadlin, so much good information there. And there's no need to read between the lines. You're very clear on what needs to happen. We'll cover every inch of it. And now with your expertise and help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harris, for hosting me.
Absolutely. Wow, that was a lot of information.
Yeah, I actually like that guy. I mean, what he's saying is reasonable. It's like, yeah, like, sure, let's stop the killing and get back to talking, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen, is it? It's pretty sad. Oh, well. We'll just have to wait and see what happens the next few days. It does seem like next few days are going to be pretty intense. Oh, I hear children screaming again. Alright. Let's see if I can finally get this to work. Can you hear this sound effect?
Selling spree.
Does that work? It takes a lot of effort to get these frickin' sound things working on this board. Let me know if that volume is okay too. I don't want to blow up your ears.
Kind of a lucky charm when you ride, right?
Okay, cool. Oh, awesome. Oh, I think I finally figured out how to make it work. Somebody says too loud. Only one person. Could be a bit quieter. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Somebody says perfect. You know what? I'll bring it down like 3 decibels. We'll do 11. It's at -8 right now. I'll do -11.
Selling spree.
Because I don't want it to be like so dominant that it's annoying. It's just supposed to be like, you know, if we're over here and we're like here and we're like, oh no, what's going on at Tesla stock? Oh, well, there's obviously
selling spree.
Yeah, okay, a lot of people saying perfect. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Thank you for helping me figure that out. Yeah, it's I'll tell you, setting up like this streaming thing, I mean, I've been streaming for, you know, whatever, like what, 8 years or whatever. I still, over time, just try to make it better and better and better. And it is so hard because you figure out one thing and then you break other things. You know, yesterday, for example, I don't know if you noticed my PM video had like an audio desync. And the assumption based on my tech support GPT is that one of my USB imports is overloading like 5 of the other USB imports I have, and that I should be using my PCI card instead, which I have 1 left. I mean, that computer's freaking full. GPT called my computer, my streaming computer, a beast of a machine, but still ended up having that problem yesterday. I think after you stream for like 7 hours, you gotta like restart your computer like every 7 hours if you're gonna do that. But it's kind of, it's crazy. Anyway, all right. Let's try the Doomers. Let's see what the Doomers are talking about today. Maybe they could give us some Doom or something. And I'm gonna close that door because I keep forgetting to close the door and then you hear the babies. Although they are pretty cute. We could bring in a baby and say hi.
Speaking
Maybe. I think they might be eating breakfast.
And of course, a Fed decision tomorrow. The many think in the longer term, maybe we could see some rate cuts if oil prices don't stay too high. We're off by 0.4% when they're digesting the risk of sentiment. But move under the hood. One particular stock I want to shine a light on. We'll talk about it a bit more later in the show. But T-Mobile is your biggest points drag, off by 4%. SoftBank selling 21 million of shares of those at a lower price point than they closed yesterday. So we're dragging down to 221. We'll get into the details later, Ed, but you're looking at T-Mobile's infrastructure layer a little bit after that news yesterday, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Almost 12 o'clock, 11:30. Price is selling down. We are looking at some situations that we would have took. This would have been a OR break at this 10 o'clock candle. Closed at 78. We about to get stopped out here. Actually, shit, the entry would be way up here. Yeah, we'd probably be stopped out by now. Shit.
Yeah, we'd be stopped out by now for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Dodging that trade.
This is the trade. That's why today is still good, because this was the trade we're dodging. We would have been in at 78. Stop would have been here. We would have been just getting stopped out.
Yeah, that's pain.
Damn, that's pain. But that's what we've been seeing, bro. It's like 2 out holding that bitch for
An hour and a half.
hour and a half, 40 minutes, man. That bitch break your heart. But yeah, so that's good. We ducked that loss. That's great. Take that
Still
off
got a
there.
limit set.
Still got a limit set in the live account. Gotta get in there. You get in there for me. You got the pass. Thought it would save one.
Yeah, you can. Just go here.
This may not be the right one. Live, so show the fucking password. Alright, pull it up over there. Yeah. We're about to show the credentials. Alright, Alright, cool. So we should duck the loss. Looks like cash is the position today for sure. So, London closed right now at 11:30. Them niggas is unwinding out their longs every time.
Waste much time getting out of those. Alright, cool. Yeah, we still got a limit set at 60.45.
Alright, yeah. Live limit still set at 60.45.25. Been working that limit all day, man. Price is just stuck at the top.
Let's see what Max is
Niggas is smacking. My nigga option inside of smack too. On orange. Went crazy. Money to be made out there, guys. Just gotta wait your turn.
Yes, he just been trading like shit.
Yeah, futures has been trading like
Man, not
shit.
even futures, fucking ES.
Yeah, ES has been trading like ass, bro.
Even if you look at the YM shit, easy.
Yeah.
Niggas could
Andre
do that
should've-
shit.
Andre could've-
Like that. Like I haven't seen a fair consolidation. I guess this is like cut. See this like shit out. Shit.
Even like look what it did far as OR. It's 9:30 candle. Shit. I mean, it did decent. Niggas we getting stopped out now. Andre definitely had the TP2. With that spike, he should have hit
Yeah,
TP2.
he went to TP1. So
Yeah, he was TP1. He's breaking
down.
down. Yeah.
Alright, cool. We got some time to see. Let's look at some movement now.
Yeah, getting some movement to the downside with London close, as we expected, but it's looking at this range. Barcoded, now it's back in the initial balance that we were trading in.
Yeah, I'm just still looking at 45.
Yeah, I'm still looking at 45 for sure, yeah. If they can do it, I'll be here for it, man. But shit. Does make it, like my boy said, a little less probable now that we're going
Yeah.
into the afternoon. This changes the whole,
The whole thing.
it's like, man.
This is the one close.
Like This bullish engulfing candle at 645, right off the level. That was the one button. It's not my flight. I show up here. And if you move the screen, for real, if you move the screen from just showing our open to now, this is what you got.
Yeah,
So,
barcode.
fucking knuckle sandwich, dude.
Check out that thing.
Like literally a fucking knuckle sandwich, bro. Finna lie. This candle closed at 58. Got up to 78. It's 20 P's right there. Niggas that bought the opening candle. It was the low of that candle, 58. Yeah, I couldn't do nothing with that. Low 57, closed at 58. Ha ha ha.
That long short too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so the longer I would have took, would have got stopped out, so they saved some money. Shit, man. This shit is.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's good. I'll not take anything until it shows good opportunity. And that's just what you gotta be content with. 'Cause, yeah, we're not getting much of anything right now. Like literally much of anything.
Let's check the quick no trade zone is 60, 51 to 67.
Alright, yeah, this whole top range that's been barcode man since the fucking open. And this point of control right here on the visible range. If it slips this, it'll be going straight down there. If it pops this, it can go straight up here.
Yeah.
It's what we call a coin flip, guys.
It's cool. Just running the news in this last 20 minutes, man. It's good work.
Alright, good work, man. Watch the news. We're here, guys.
Would you say yes? And how many could you manufacture for them?
So usually it's the rule of thumb. Number of square footage allows you to do that many units per month. Our facility is relatively small. We have about 10,000 square foot facility. So that's a single line. We could, of course, vertically scale up to about 30,000 per month in the same exact facility, and then horizontally scale. If you're looking at 100,000 per month, that'd probably be a 6-month lead time if it's contracted through us because we already have the entire process in place.
Todd Weaver, we're going to have to get you back if that conversation does indeed erupt a little bit further.
Wow, okay, this is interesting. So here's the CEO of a competing all-American cell phone manufacturer. Now, apparently, this company has been the subject of significant controversy in the past, but to me, it sounds like he's a little bit butthurt and bitter that they just lost the contract to do the Trump phone, because we just heard him say that he's been in conversation about the Trump phone, but now he's bagging on the Trump phone, suggesting that the Trump administration is truly using a Chinese phone and branding it as an American, phone, even though that's not true. And now the CEO of Purism is saying, hey, Trump is going to end up getting the FTC involved in the sale of his phone, which is basically a way of saying that the CEO of Purism is claiming Trump is falsely advertising that the Trump phone is made in America when it's actually just a WingTech phone because the specs match WingTech phones. Now, Purism has an interesting history itself because Louis Rossmann made a couple critical videos of this company. I mean, you could just look at the title here. Purism ghosts customers, lies about refund policy, avoid this horrible company. Basically, they go through some emails and they talk about how the company was unwilling to support individuals with whatever claims they had. Here is the Liberty phone that they sell, which is a $2,000 premium phone that focuses on security by design and privacy protections by default with secure supply chains and electronics made in the USA. You can see it looks pretty clunky on the side, pretty thick relative to an iPhone these days, probably because the components they can get their hands on here in America are just unfortunately not as small yet for mobile devices as what we have access to in China, though that could be speculative. But that said, you could get a fantastic phone now at Apple for $799. Hashtag not an ad for Apple. But, oh boy, there's a lot going on the Apple homepage here. But I personally think if you're looking for a phone, the iPhone 16e is like 95% of the phone of the iPhone 16 for a fraction of the cost. Oh, wow, it's actually now starting at just $599. Holy smokes. In my opinion, this is actually a sign of some pricing power at Apple really starting to collapse, which is great because it's a sign that you as an individual, the consumer, you actually win. I mean, the fact that now I could buy this for $599, the iPhone 16e, that's actually pretty incredible. And again, I believe for most people, 95% of the features are here. But look at this. You get a 16e for $599. Okay, well, let's say you wanted the best possible phone you could get from iPhone, the iPhone 16 Pro, and that starts at $999. Even if you end up going for the Pro Max, it's $1,200. You compare that to the Liberty phone that this guy's selling, the Liberty phone starts looking pretty expensive. Now, they do have other, and that's even a relatively small hard drive. That's the 128. That's like what the iPhone 16e has, right? Now, they do have other products, including apparently a cheaper phone here, the Librem 5 phone. This Librem 5 phone, if we go to the Buy Now tab, is a phone that's worth $800. Also looks like it has sort of a similar, larger thickness design here with some slightly different specs. So you've got a few different options you could choose from. But the CEO seems bitter that they lost this Trump Mobile contract, where now what they're doing is the 4745 plan. This is obviously an ode to Donald Trump being president 45 and 47. And that's how much it's going to cost per month, which is likely just a relabeling or rebranding, much like Mint Mobile does, of a T-Mobile plan or Verizon plan or whatever. And they're selling this T1 phone, which it's unclear that they've actually ever even made a single one of these. But what you have is a phone that is looking for $100 down payments now. This is usually an easy way to issue a proof of concept, throw something together. Mind you, they also had the camera over here earlier in an earlier version of this website listed as having a milliamp hour life. You can see in one of the original photos here, which you could easily find on X, 5,000 milliamp hour long life camera. Cameras are not known to have electrical battery capacity measurements, which would be milliamp hours, since batteries are measured in amp hours, their capacity. That has since been changed. Now it's a 5,000 milliamp hour long life battery, which we forgot the hyphen between long life, and there's a space missing over here after the parentheses and before punch, but, whatever, these are just small little details, who cares? So the idea here is that you're going to have this American phone, but the purism guy, who we could be skeptical of ourselves, this guy is saying that Trump is really just using this company called WingTech. Now, WingTech is a Chinese company. They actually have a stock. So if you want to invest in the company that potentially is making the Trump phone, it's this right here, WingTech Technology. Usually you'd have to use like a Moomoo or a Webull or maybe an Interactive Brokers to get access to the Chinese, listed stocks. But you would just type in 600 and then 745 as the ticker symbol. They use numbers rather than the 4 or 3-digit letters that we do, or 2 digits even. But anyway, here's the company that allegedly went through, allegedly, according to the Purism CEO, is making these Trump phones. They obviously had some incredible momentum wave there during COVID. But what's very interesting about this is if it's true that this is just going to be a rebranded Chinese-made phone, then much like many of the other Trump products, whether it's his hats or shirts, we're not really getting made in America. We're getting made in China and then sort of maybe like assembled in America, which is basically what the iPhone is, right? The iPhone, or the iPhone's actually even worse. It's designed in California and then made and assembled in the in the Chinese marketplace through Foxconn. Although now there's talk about potentially moving to India, which is also expected to be subject to tariffs. Then, of course, you have the potential that, Donald Trump might try to promote his own phone over companies like Apple, where all of a sudden you say, hey, well, Iran, you're importing from, Apple, you're importing from India. We've got the Trump phone made in America. Is it, though? Purism CEO says it's just a rebrand of WingTech, which apparently does actually have a phone out. If you look up WingTech on Amazon, I'll just see if there are any other ones. They're apparently the Revel 7s and Revel 6s and Revel 6Xs you could get your hands on. But look at the prices of these phones. This actually shows you the potential markup that Donald Trump is going for. But look at this WingTech 7 right here. This is an $88 phone. 128 gigabytes of storage. And if we look right here, this one shows 256, so maybe there's an expanded version of this. Let's try to put these side by side and see if we can get a comparison. You've got, oh, well, you don't get too many tech specs here, huh? Let's see. 5G tech, big deal, versatile camera, long-lasting battery. Okay, we've seen that as well. I don't actually get many tech specs at all here. Wonder if we could pull up a Google of this product and get a whole lot more tech specs. But anyway, the Purism CEO said, yeah, this is all just, it all shows just restricted. Purism CEO suggests that these are almost the same. Now, here's a Reddit review from 7 months ago. Is it just me or does the Revel 7 suck? Photo editing glitches, can't change your phone background to any image, can't change the lock screen. Power button requires you to hold the volume down and side purple button. You'd think the purple button is power, but when you hold it, that's a no. That's how it's designed. Whatever, somebody ranting on Reddit. But then again, what do you expect when you're spending $88 for a phone? Translate review to English. This phone has lots of knocks. Oh, nicks is, I think, what they're referring to. Like, it came damaged. But this would make sense because this could actually be a profitable business model. If you took Revel phones, which are all 3.5-star reviewed phones, and then branded them or white labeled them as Trump phones, you could actually get this phone for, this one has, no, 128. These are still showing as 256. You could get a relatively cheap phone and ultimately have a profit margin. So it's possible that's exactly what's going on here. But again, that would be the opposite of the claim that this is going to be an all-American phone. After all, that's been the branding from Team Trump that, not only do we have the 4745 plan, but that the actual phone itself would be made in America and we would have American call centers. Now, maybe they'll walk that claim back, this made in America claim. But who knows? Kind of interesting. See, take a look at this. At Trump Mobile, we believe wireless service should reflect American values, simple, honest, and built for hardworking people. At Trump Mobile, you don't just get a phone plan, you get service provided by American pride, freedom, and integrity. Built for people who expect more. Okay, why choose Trump Mobile? Reliable coverage, transparent pricing, big deal. Our promise, simple, honest, transparent, blah, 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 blah. So, we'll see. Okay, well, what about these claims that it's made in America? Well, this has been sort of the pitch of the Trump administration. As you can see here, CBS News. Trump administration is debuting a cellular phone service called a T1. And if we just jump in here, let's see here. Where is it? There we go. Okay, the new Trump phone. Let's see, rival phone companies manufacture a cheaper dilemma. Will they be intimidated to advertise that? Okay, they foreign part. Trying to find, where is it? Message them. I think it may have been at the presser with the Suns, with Eric, but I want to find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so, oh my gosh, come on, Reuters. It's all right. We'll get this pulled up in just a moment because we saw this yesterday. Stand by one. All right, here we go. Reuters, Trump's family business licensed its name to launch a mobile service and mobile phone, calling it Trump Mobile. This will have phones, quote, to be made in America, the group announces. Obviously, the details of where this is going to be determined. Let's see here. Sleek gold phone. The Trump family did not disclose which company would manufacture the phone in the United States and sell it for $499. Despite the strength of U.S.-based tech brands, there is no significant domestic smartphone production infrastructure, largely due to high labor costs, supply chain complexity, and reliance of overseas component sourcing. Eric Trump, on a podcast Monday, suggested the first delivery of phones by August might not be made in the United States. However, eventually, all of the phones can be built in the United States. Oh, that's an interesting walk back from their announcement over here. Okay, Reuters going to run me another ad. I just watched the first one. But anyway, it's an interesting walk back because you kind of now almost have the Trump organization admitting, like, oh, yeah, you know, the goal is that one day they'll be made in America. But maybe the first ones will just be white-labeled wing tech phones. So maybe the Purism CEO is onto something. Kind of interesting. Let's listen to the announcement video here and see what we can glean from it. Oh, it's going to make me listen to another ad? This is ridiculous. Like, how hard is it to actually play a freaking video? Come on.
Today we're here to introduce Trump Mobile. We've partnered with some of the greatest people in the industry to make sure that real Americans can get true value from their mobile carriers. A big part of what we've done right now in the world has been focused on technology for people who have been underserved, whether that's been in crypto or anything else. But one of the places where we felt there was lackluster performance was in the mobile industry.
The fact that all your customer service will be done in America. It's going to be done in St. Louis, Missouri. I hope I was allowed to give that out. And making phones in America. It's about time we bring products back to our great country, and it's about time we disrupt this space.
All right, so it seems like this is the claim that eventually we'll make the phones in America, as we have here. Eric Trump on a podcast suggested that eventually the phones can be built in America, but at first they'll probably be Chinese. And it appears now, thanks to the Purism CEO, whom people don't really like, but thanks to the Purism phone, it seems like the white-labeled phone might end up being the cheap Wing Tech phone, and it is a stock that you can buy. So if you want to invest in the company that is likely going to be making the Trump phone, this is the info you need. All right. That is entertaining. Come on, baby. I can't change channels. All right, here we go. Let's see what's in the news. Faulkner.
Place. They've got to be. And if you think you're not a violent person, but you're here illegally, then use the app. Go get back in line and say, hey, I'm here illegally. I want to get first in line to come back. There's a solution for that. But to harbor these people in sanctuaries is just fundamentally and totally wrong.
Well, and it's law-breaking. I mean, you were the former chairman of Oversight. You know what that looks like. So great to have you today. Thank you. I appreciate it. It has been a full week already, and it's only Tuesday. A lot of breaking news. So grateful that you watched the Faulkner Focus. Outnumbered after the break.
Bye.
States Yechiel Leiter on Inside Politics. That's coming up next, right after a short break.
Okay. Yeah, the irony with those Reuters ads is I think I pay Reuters like $1,500 a month. So, but it's not linked to that stupid webpage, which is annoying. You gotta figure out how to do that.
Worksite enforcements are often the places where ICE can arrest the most people in one single sweep. And so taking that away was really hindering ICE's ability to meet those quotas. As we know, Stephen Miller recently told ICE to start arresting 3,000 a day.
So is all this back and forth and shifting, it seems, in policy just part of the strategy?
I don't know if it's necessarily part of the strategy, but I think it's part of what happens when you try to walk a fine line between pleasing others and not upsetting the base. And so Trump wants to stay strong on immigration. In fact, he was asked about this by a reporter recently. Take a listen to what that exchange sounded like.
Security is saying that ICE is going to start enforcing in hotels and farms again. Is that a change of course from last week?
We're going to look everywhere, but I think the biggest problem is the inner cities. We're looking everywhere.
So no one's getting exemptions anymore. Everyone is.
Well, everyone's being looked at, but the bigger problem is the cities right now.
So what he's talking about there, Anna, is the new effort to go into Democratic-led sanctuary cities and to go in with force, even ICE SWAT teams. That's what we're expecting to see the most of next.
Something to watch for, that's for sure. Thank you, Julia Ainsley. And that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Anna Cabrera reporting from New York. Chris Jansing picks up our coverage next.
Rose in 9 of the last 10 sessions. But then we got the actual text, and there are not hugely significant changes for clean energy credits. The Senate's bill has a slightly longer lead time for projects to begin construction and still be eligible for the credits. And there is also a slower step down with projects breaking ground in 2027, still receiving a 20% credit. But the credit would expire in 2028. That's 4 years earlier than what's in the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, residential solar is the hardest hit with a lucrative 30% tax credit expiring 180 days after the bill's enactment. Under the Senate's version, which is sending Sunrun, you see there, cratering 42%, and Phase and SolarEdge, which make hardware for Resi systems, also dropping. As Guggenheim...
Trump just truth. We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment, plenty of it, but they didn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the United States. Nice little thread again, a reminder for people to get out, huh?
Last week at Citadel, sharing insights from his career, advice for those just starting out. He shared some of those remarks exclusively with us here at CNBC. Listen.
The first question is, put yourself in the room with the colleagues. If you're the smartest person in the room by far, you're in the wrong room. You need to find a different room to get to. You should never, ever say, I am the smartest person in the room. You may be the smartest person in a particular topic, particular area of interest, but if you are just hands down the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room.
I'm in the wrong room. Just kidding. He went on to say that he is humbled at work every single day. By the way, if you were wondering where folks want to intern at Wall Street, it is at Citadel. They received 108,000 applications for their internship program, I'm told. A 20% increase from last year. Only accepted a few hundred. So they can boast a lower acceptance rate than Harvard and MIT.
It would be less than 1% easily, yes?
Yeah, it's like 0.4%
Right.
or something like that. High demand.
Yeah, but then again, most people don't even apply to Harvard because they feel like they don't have a chance. So you kind of have to factor that in. That's a little hard to adjust for.
Retail sales print, and then, of course, the signals of escalation in between Israel and Iran, although we continue to monitor the headlines. Meanwhile, there's been a couple trade headlines from the EU saying they're still thinking about a July 9 deadline. We'll see if we can get that before some of those tariffs
I'm sure they
potentially.
are, but President Trump yesterday on the sideline said they haven't offered a fair deal. So it remains to be seen. They have to offer him something that he's going to want. And what he hinted at yesterday with Carney.
Alright guys, 12 o'clock. About to go ahead and wrap up so I don't make no mistakes in this treacherous range. As we can see, trade we're looking for, a nice pullback to this area. And as you can see, price barcoded in the New York session, just like it's been doing. So go ahead, keep my money in my pocket. And we'll be back tomorrow, man. Trade safe. Actually, I'm not trading tomorrow. Probably stream still pull up. Look at the charts and shit. Probably around Powell actually. But yeah, so I see you guys tomorrow. Be in the Discord, man. You guys tap in, like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for showing up. Love everyone that's been watching our videos, checking out the lives. Make sure you guys tap in. We got the chat open, always available to answer some questions, whatever. But yeah, besides that, man, gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Appreciate you guys, and we'll tap in with you tomorrow.